Well, this is a bag of meat. Let's see what we have here. So this is a chicken thigh dissection, or the results of a dissection that a colleague did. So brought to you by Curious Moranland and the Rubisco Kid. So when we look at tissue, we're doing connective tissue. So we did this little demo today before a quiz, and this is a video. So I'm a little frustrated because it went really well, and the sound was off. So I'm going to play the video again and just narrate what happened and try and salvage what we have. So the first thing we did was I'm going to open the bag. And basically, the bone was already removed. So the Rubisco kid, Jason Schweitzer, took this and removed the meat, and then I came in and borrowed it. He just started out with a totally undissected one. So first thing was, hey, let's look at what other connective tissue we can find. And if you look right here, I'm holding the skin. So let's pause right now. While doing this, what I'm going to do is go back and forth from the video to the connective tissue we might see. So of the 11 connective tissues, we're not going to see all of them. We're only going to see one of the cartilages. We're not going to see elastic or fibrocartilage in this little cross section. So let's watch a little more. So when we got to the skin, I had them bring in a model. So I had two assistants, students helping out. So let's keep playing. And you can see, so that is basically dense, irregular, or fibrous tissue. And so what I had her do is come back. As we did each one of these, the student would come back and show the card. I say, hey, show it. So this is that picture right here. Let's pause the video, and that's what we got here. So then we kept exploring. Now, one of the things you hear me say is I bring up a bone, and I actually said, you're not going to see the cartilage here. And then I stopped because this right here is in the articulating capsule that would attach this bone to another one, and that is cartilage. So let's see what we say here. Then I'll go to the cards. So the student brought that over. So first they brought bone. So let me just say we did bone, but then you see what I'm doing right now. I'm touching the articular cartilage, and that is not areolar, which comes, that's hyaline cartilage. All right. And you can see that where it touches here. So when I was actually looking at the bone and stuff and like rubbing the bone, you were seeing I was talking about the articulating cartilage. So let's see what's going on here. Looks like the video paused. Let me go back. So, all right. So if you look over here, or I'm actually, so she actually showed bone, which is what that is, the connective tissue. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my bone slide. Yep. Oh, I didn't put bone in there, so I'm going to have to add that back to this slide. So she showed bone, and then I mentioned the articular cartilage, the chondrocytes or chondroblast, and here's the fibers, and there's some written description of what's going on there. So let me go back to the video. So she did show bone, which it is obviously, but so let's go on to the next tissue here. And so there's the hyaline cartilage, which I just showed here. That's the picture. So showed bone first for obvious reasons. And then we started looking through, we were looking for blood vessels and tendons. So I think I had, let's see which one did we have her. Now, like I said, I'm frustrated that the audio didn't go. You could hear the students were answering in class, so you saw a lot of student engagement. So let's see what card the assistant brings up next. So I'm pulling the fascia and the skin. So I already showed skin, dense or regular, but I want to show a tendon and fascia. Let's see if we bring that card up. Like I said, I'm not going to play the whole video, but I want to kind of capture the essence of what we were trying to demonstrate here. And there it is. Okay, so that, not the blood, that is your dense, regular, your tissue, connective tissue. Now, earlier it was dense, irregular. That was the skin. This is the dense, the tightly packed collagen fibers with the fibroblast nuclei. They're so smashed in you can barely see the nuclei, the cartoon pictures. But you see that in ligaments and tendons and the fascia. That so there's the description there. All right, a little more. I think that's pretty much all we showed. Now, obviously, muscle was there, but that's not one of the tissues we're covering right now. That's one of the 4 histological tissues, or histology. Epithelia, connective, muscle, 3 types of muscle, and then, of course, nerves. So what I want to wrap up with this short little video here is this little picture here. We want to talk strategies. And I'm going to do another video talking about other strategies for getting the students to better understand what's going on here. So I pretty much talk about this. So I'm going to go ahead and close the video and go to this little picture here. And before I do that, I want to show you. So there's adipose tissue, areolar tissue was there, hyaline. So this is the chart that is in that video. And what we're trying to get the students to do is make the connection. All right, identify the tissue. All right, identify, the type of connective tissue, which we have up here. The cells, and then the extracellular matrix. See, there's very little matrix or space between cells in epithelia, but it's essential for connective tissue. And this is just showing the breakdown of what you see when if you're actually cooking some chicken leg, you're seeing all of this connective tissue. You're seeing the loose connective areolar. You're going to see which has collagen fibers and elastic fibers. You're going to see the dense irregular, which is actually not in this picture, the skin part. It was earlier. You're seeing the dense regular patterns right here, which make up the tendons. And those are collagen fibers. The collagen fibers that are irregular run in different directions for like the skin, the attachment. The dense regular for the fascia, the articulating cartilage, that's going to be around here. Obviously, there's going to be blood vessels, and of course, bone and fat, adipose. I'm actually curious, Raylan, but I want to do one more thing. I want to go back and show this. So I'm going to go to my little handy-dandy camera and just walk through kind of a technique that you want to have. So we already showed cartilage. It seems like I talked a lot about it. So it's a supporting cartilage. It's a supporting connective tissue. There's there's connective tissue proper, like the dense regular and irregular, divided into loose and dense. Okay, so it's a hyaline cartilage. What is the cell? Chondrocytes or chondroblast. What are the fibers? Collagen fibers. Okay, and then here, and then you connect it to the location. So I'm going to go back to the location, and there we go. So that is a way of taking the stuff that we consume or deal or interact with and realizing that is, there's organic material. There they are. And you see the breakdown within all of these connective tissues in there, in addition to the other type of histology tissue, which is the muscle, and then you can actually see some nerve fibers, and if you really dig deep. All right, brought to you by Curious Marine Land.